please don't judge me. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. Yes, I know I was foolish, but please just listen to the story and don't judge me. So, welcome back to Malika's Flex. You know, it's your girl, Malika, aka Mali, aka Malibu, whatever you want to call me. It's me. And guys, today I am so embarrassed to tell this story, but bear with me. I was much younger, naive, and just too kind hearted. So, as the title suggests, I got robbed, scammed, whatever you want to call it, in halfway tree. So here's what happened. I was going to this church, right? I think I can call the church's name because the church has nothing to do with this. But I was going to this church called North Kingston UPC. That's in Grand Spain. Now, it's kind of a big church. Well, it's a big church, I guess, depends on how you look at it. It's a big church. Many people go to that church, and you won't know all the faces. I normally sit at the front or close to the front. So I don't really know who's sitting behind me and whatnot. I know the popular faces, those are who are on the choir, those who take an active part in church. So yeah. No, I was in college at the time. I think I was in like my third or fourth year. I'd like to believe that it was my third year, which is between 2015 and 2016. So I was in 2014, 2015, third year college. So when you're in college, you're broke most of the times. Like, even if you're not from a broke family, you are broke most of the times, because like you just have so much things to do, so many things to do with money. And I remember my iron at the time, the iron that I used to press with, yes, my iron wasn't working, and I needed to get an iron really quickly so that I wouldn't have to borrow anybody's iron and get along with the rest of my life with ease. So even though I had already got my weekly money, that did finish already, and so I called my mother and I told her that I needed some money to purchase an iron because I was badly in need of an iron. So I think she sent me like either $2,500 or $3,000. At the time, to get a decent iron, it was like I think 2.5. Yeah, I think 2.5 to get a decent iron at the time. That's a simple and decent iron. So she must have sent me like $3,000. I don't remember, but so my mother sent me $3,000, and I was there. I went to Halfway Tree to go get the iron at Clock Tower. So while on my way, I was walking from Scotiabank, which was in front of what's it called again? I don't remember the plaza that it's called. Pavilion, yes. So that's Scotiabank there, because that's where the taxi will let you off. Coming from Shortwood Teachers College. So I was let off there, and I was walking from there to Clock Tower. So it's a little walk, but nothing too tedious. So when I was walking, usually I would walk through the park, but I don't always like to walk through the park because I've always heard of people getting, robbed in the park and all these things. And sometimes, you just have a feeling and you're like, okay, I'm not going to walk through the park today. So that day I didn't walk through the park as a shortcut to get to Clock Tower. I walked alongside the buses that were going to downtown Kingston. Anyway, while on my way, a man stopped me. He was looking clean, dressed okay, and it was an elderly man. When I say elderly, I think around like late 50s, early 60s, somewhere thereabout, looking like a respectable man. And he stopped me and he said, "Praise the Lord." And I said, "Praise the Lord." If you're a Pentecostal, that's how we greet each other. And he was saying, "How are you?" And I think he was even saying, "Como estas?" And me, like, once you start speaking like a Spanish, I'm gonna give you my attention. So I was there, listening to him. He was saying, "Hi, how are you?" And even though I didn't know him, I was just, just listening to what the old man had to say. Then he was explaining to me that something happened to his car, like his car got towed away or something like that, and he left his phone in the car and something else. And even though his car was towed away, he won't be able to collect it until the next day. But he was on his way to country, um, and he really needed $1,000 to get to country to deal with whatever it is that he had to deal with. It was a convincing story. And as a country girl myself, I knew that, yeah, $1,000 sounded reasonable to get to where you're going. Even though I think at the time it was like, if you're going to St. Anne, I think it was like $500. I don't remember. But I know, yes, sometimes you need to take different transportation. So maybe I need to take a bus from halfway to downtown, then from downtown to whatever part of country you're going, and then maybe another taxi fare to get to. So I know $1,000 sounded reasonable to me. So with my $3,000 that my mom sent me, and I strongly believe that it was like, yeah, with my $3,000 that my mom sent me, I would have already spent $100 out of it to get to halfway tree. So I was now left with 2,900, and I definitely needed another $100 to get back to school, right? So in all, call it that I have $2,800 to use. And remember, I plan to purchase an iron for $2,500. That would leave me with about $300 to spare. His story was so convincing, and then he started saying that he knows me from church. Me with my big idiot self go call the church name. North oh, you go to North Kingston? Like, I should have allowed him to say that he goes to North Kingston. And he was like, yes, and whatever, and that's the church he goes to. And he was convincing me that the next Sunday, when I see him, he would give me about the $1,000. And I was like, I've been in a situation before when I was stuck in halfway tree. Money was sent to my Scotia account, but Scotia took all the taxes accumulated, that the money that was sent to my Scotia, everything, was withdrawn from it. And so I went to halfway tree. There was no money in my account, and I needed to get back to school. So I've been in a situation before where I needed somebody to help me out. Luckily, in my situation, I was able to call somebody and I got through. But I know that not everybody is lucky enough to have that, So with his convincing story, I gave him the $1,000. So that left me with about $1,800 to spend. So I ended up purchasing an iron for $1,500. A little cheap iron. It wasn't like the quality that I was going for, but I was like, you know what? I didn't mind because I was able to help somebody in need. No, like, many people don't even know this side of me, but I am a really kind person. Many people may beg to differ, but I am kind. Like, I give without people asking even. Like, I remember every week when I used to get my money from my parents, I used to give, there was this boy who would always be by the ATM, and I would always give him $500 out of my money. He was a schoolboy. Anyway, but yeah, so I gave him the $1,000. I felt so proud of myself that I was able to assist somebody in their time of need. But guys, when the Sunday reached, I went to church and I kept looking around. Remember, I said normally I don't even look behind me. I don't know who sits behind me or anything like that. And I'm looking. He gave me his name, I remember. I don't even remember it right now. And I kept looking around. This church sister that I spoke with, well, I asked her, no, brother so-and-so. And she was like, no. She don't know him. And I kept looking at, like, for 1 month straight, every time I went to church, I would look to see if I saw the man. And I would not see the man. And even months after, I still, to this day, I haven't seen the man. I haven't seen him. So yeah, I believe that I was scammed. And my part in it was that I gave the name of the church that I attended without him saying it first. But I definitely believe that this man went to that church with me and I was helping out my church brother. So I was scammed of my $1,000. But God sees my heart. He knows that I was just trying to help out a situation. And whatever that man used the $1,000 for, I hope that he's in a better place today. And that's all I can say. So like I said before, don't judge me. It was just a bad decision on my part. I lost my $1,000, but life goes on. So let me know if you guys have ever done anything as close to as stupid as this was. And as usual, our word for today is scam. If you got to this part of the video, please write down below, comment down below with the word scam. That's our word for today. Thank you all so much for watching. We are now on our way to 500 subscribers. So last week I told you guys that we were on our way to 200 subscribers. I'm not even going to say we're on our way to 300 or 400. We're amping it up to 500 subscribers. So let's get there. If you're watching this right now, you enjoy the content, please go ahead and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. This is Malika's Flex with your girl Malika, aka Mali, aka Malibu, whatever you want to call me. It's me saying bye. Have a great Sunday.